Everyone thinks Apple is late to the AI race, that Siri is outdated and the world has already moved on. But what if I told you Apple might actually be right on time? I've been studying everything about their new Apple Intelligence, and in this video, I'll show you how it could quietly change the entire AI industry. So let's get into it. They say Apple has missed its moment. That while OpenAI, Google, and Meta are shaping the future of intelligence, Apple is standing still, clutching its iPhones like relics from another era. That Siri has already lost its voice, that the App Store model is about to collapse under the weight of AI-native platforms, and that the world has moved on without Cupertino. But maybe that story is too convenient. Maybe Apple is not a dinosaur in an AI jungle. Maybe it is the one creature that knows how to evolve silently and strike when the ecosystem is ready. For more than a decade, Apple built its empire not on being first, but on being right. It did not invent the smartphone, it perfected it. It did not create the tablet market, it defined it. The company's power has never been speed, it's precision. And now, as the AI revolution explodes in every direction, precision might be exactly what the world needs. Everyone is rushing to claim the AI crown. OpenAI is building its ChatGPT ecosystem into a full operating system. Google has turned every service into a Gemini-powered network. Meta is flooding its platforms with assistants and agents. Even smaller startups are racing to attach the word AI to every product imaginable. Meanwhile, Apple is quiet, too quiet some say. But that silence is not inaction, it is alignment. Apple's next big move, Apple Intelligence, is not just a rebranding of Siri, it is the blueprint of how AI will feel when it finally becomes personal. Instead of chasing massive cloud models or pushing users into endless chat interfaces, Apple is integrating intelligence directly into the core of the device. Every photo, message, and note becomes part of a local ecosystem where privacy and personalization coexist. That is the difference. Apple doesn't want AI to live somewhere else, it wants it to live inside your device. For years, critics mocked Siri for being clumsy. They weren't wrong. It stumbled, it misunderstood, it stayed behind. But now, that very weakness might become Apple's comeback story. Because while others build smarter chatbots, Apple built a $1 trillion foundation, 1.5 billion devices, each with its own neural engine, waiting for the right kind of intelligence to arrive. Think about what that means. Apple doesn't need to convince people to switch platforms or install anything new. The infrastructure is already in their hands. All it has to do is flip the switch, and when it does, AI will not just sit on top of the device, it will flow through it. You won't need to open ChatGPT or Gemini, you'll simply say what you want and the system will act. Call someone, edit a photo, summarize an email, not through a separate chatbot, but through the operating system itself. That is where Apple still holds its unmatched advantage: integration. It owns the hardware, the software, and the ecosystem. Every chip, every app, every gesture, all part of one design language. That unity means AI on iPhone can feel native, invisible, and fluid in a way others can only imitate. Privacy is another weapon. In a world where users are increasingly suspicious of how their data is used, Apple's stance on privacy has never been more relevant. When Apple says its AI runs on device, people believe it. That credibility will matter more than flashy demos or viral chatbots. It is the difference between fear and trust, and Apple has built a decade of trust. But Apple's biggest challenge is not technology, it's perception. The world thinks it's behind. It must change that story not by shouting louder, but by proving that meaningful innovation still comes from design, not hype. Imagine the near future. You wake up and instead of scrolling through apps, you just speak. Your iPhone understands context, intention, emotion. It organizes, connects, creates, quietly and efficiently. Not a new interface, but a new relationship with your device. One that feels natural, human, and private. That is the comeback narrative. Not about catching up to AI leaders, but redefining what AI leadership means. The story that Apple is too late assumes that the race ends with who builds the biggest model. But Apple is not trying to win the AI race, it's trying to rewrite it. And when it finally shows the world its version of intelligence, it might remind everyone why it's still the company that turns technology into art. Maybe Apple isn't late. Maybe it's simply arriving at the right time again.